Greetings, family. From time to time, some of you will contact me and ask me to do a video on a particular person, and I pray about it because I have to do only those videos that I feel spiritually led to do. And should I get confirmation that it isn't indeed a story that I should expand on, then I do it. Now, I just want to say something to those of you who are my Christian subscribers and followers and people who check in to look at the videos. I have been told that my videos are not, are gearing away from the word. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact comment. But I need to tell you that even celebrity stories, the ones that I tell, have a godly message, whether it be good or bad. Every story has a divine message. It is up to you to find the message within. I do quote scripture and I do keep it clean. However, many of these stories are not clean. And if I'm going to be a true messenger, then I have to speak the truth. Which brings me to the story of Aaliyah. Aaliyah Dana Horton was a beautiful child, and as such, her parents introduced her to the world of show business early. Early on, she modeled, and she took a knack to it. They also found out that she was able to sing, and so her beauty combined with her ability to sing made her a natural for the industry. Now, her parents were already connected to the industry. The mother, as I understand, was a background singer, and her uncle, Aaliyah's uncle, was married to Gladys Knight of Gladys Knight and the Pips, and he was a record label owner, and he was also a manager. Now, one of the interesting things about MK Ultra training is that it is usually more effective if one or two members or more members of the family are already in the entertainment business. Reason being is that, having been in the industry myself, you're groomed. You're groomed for this. This is why they have A&R departments, which are artists and repertoire. They groom the artists for the business. Aaliyah was a student in the dance program at a Detroit high school, but prior to that, she went through the Roman Catholic school system. And I can tell you that many entertainers, Madonna, Diddy, even Biggie, went through that Roman Catholic school system regimen. And it is a type of monarch training, MK Ultra training, in that they have strict adherence to their rules. And in my age, they even used to beat you if you didn't follow the rules. Now, as Aaliyah became more developed in her singing career, she was introduced to R. Kelly. The idea was that he was supposed to be some type of Svengali over her and be able to groom her even further for the business. But the truth behind that is that he was a handler. And this is where her sex kitten program was first installed and activated. Aaliyah was groomed from an early age. She met R. Kelly when she was 14. And you know, something interesting that I find in most of the pictures of her with R. Kelly, she looks very unhappy. She does not look like a carefree, happy teenage girl. However, R. Kelly did indeed do his job as a handler. In fact, the record, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, is a whole tribute to pedophilia. And, you know, people don't know this because they only go by what they can see and they can hear and what the media tells them. But when he was 27, he married Aaliyah using a falsified marriage certificate listing her as being 18 when in fact she was only 15. And he knew that. That's why he had it falsified. So if age is nothing but a number, why did he find the need to falsify her marriage certificate? This further established him in his handler capabilities because now he was married to her and he could pretty much do with her as he wished. And again, here you can see she looks miserable. And there were quite a few other women in entertainment who also married their handlers. I can tell you that Tommy Mottola, when he married Mariah, he was her handler. And, these people will tell you that, oh, but I loved her. But you didn't, because there was an agenda, and that is what you did. You fulfilled your agenda. As the programming began to take effect, there were subtle changes that began to manifest in the appearance of Aaliyah. And these, indeed are part of the Sex Kitten program, in that the person, either through abuse, whether it be sexual or psychological, they are groomed into this sex kitten. And, they're trained. They're taught what to say publicly and how to present themselves. If you recall, Berry Gordy used to do that with the Supremes. Here we see Aaliyah in the traditional sex kitten gear, which is always some type of animal attire, but more interestingly, around her neck is a dog collar, and that shows control. While she was still a child, she hooked up with that Tommy Hilfiger, promoting his Tommy Still Can't Figure gear, and the fact of the matter is that Hilfiger long had demonic ties to the occult, and a lot of his gear was had occult significance, either on the actual clothing or in the ads, and especially in the moving ads. There was always some type of occultic message. And as as the person is being groomed, a lot of you young wannabe starlets, you say, oh, I dream of this, I dream of that. Be careful what you dream of, because those very same dreams can turn into nightmares. In a couple of Aaliyah's songs, there were positive messages, but here again, you can see the dog collar. So despite whatever she's singing about, the hidden messages are showing the elite that yes, she is a sex slave to be used and controlled. Now here she's playing with an eaglet. And the eagle, as you know, in the occult circles, it's also on the dollar bill, by the way, but it represents power and flight. And as time went on, there were more and more images of Aaliyah looking miserable and unhappy, because what happens is when you're under these MK Ultra programs, you are following, you're like an obeying slave. So you are following the script, but there is that soul inside of you that is dying to get out because it does not want to be controlled. We all want to be free. And this is what happens when the program finally breaks down. Here you can see her with DMX. They did a couple of movies together, but DMX was another MK Ultra slave. And it caused, when his programming went down, when it broke down, he went crazy. The same with Martin Lawrence. They found him shooting in the street, but the fact of the matter is the programming, it broke down because the handlers, when these people start to awaken from the program and the handlers are cast aside, there's a breakdown because the people begin to come back to themselves. And then they realize that they can smile and they can be happy and they can be free. And in some cases, they even want to be children again because the program has been in place since childhood, so they missed out on that. So they go back to wanting to be the fresh-faced children that they were originally intended to be. Now, there are many facets to the actual program, and I don't know it all, obviously, because I have not been privy to actually being present when someone is undergoing this. And I don't want to be privy to it. I don't want to see that. But here you can see with her dancing with Jackie Chan in a clip from the movie. Not only is the mirror programming being used, but again, she's wearing that dog collar. And it's interesting to note that if this was a style that she chose, then you would have seen her in public wearing it. But she did not. She only wore it in the presentations of her videos. And so that right there speaks of control, because there are stylists and people who dress you for these things. And so, in fact, she was told that this is the look that she should wear for this particular video. And here you can see her with the brat. And there was also a lot of use of fire in her videos. And as you can see, the sexually seductive dancing that went on in the videos was all choreographed to fit her sex kitten image. Now, many of you know about the relationship that she had with Damon Dash. But what you may not know is that Damon was actually also a handler. The problem came when he really fell in love with her. But prior to Damon, what you may not know is that she was involved with JAYZ. JAYZ was initially going to be her handler. JAYZ has been a handler for many women. And Rihanna being at the top of the list, and also Beyonce. Here she is sandwiched between two handlers, Diddy and JAYZ. And what happened is that when he could not conform her to the program, she drifted away. She drifted into the hands of Dash. And you can find on the net and other places many pictures of her hugged up with Jay, because she was looking for love and romance, and she didn't find it with him. She found control. And the other thing too that I know for a fact was that in the early days of the Rockefeller, the women were passed around like party favors. And for those of you who want more detail about this, go to my video, Beyonce and JAYZ, and it talks about Aaliyah's connection even further in terms of her dealings with The Rock. So Damon took over as handler, but he fell in love and he couldn't do it. He couldn't complete his task. And I believe that this was part of the contribution to his downfall with Rockefeller. Aaliyah had many friends in the business who were also men. N.W.A was one of them. And I don't believe they had a intimate relationship. I believe they were just friends. Also the same with Pac. They were actually good friends, but even deeper than that, they had a connection that a lot of people missed. The connection that they had, and this is not her with Pac, but this is her with Kadada. This was the connection that she had, that she and Pac shared. Proverbs 12:26 says, "The righteous person is cautious in his friendship, but the way of the wicked leads them astray." Now, Kadada is the daughter of Quincy Jones, who is a major handler in Hollywood. And he's also been said to be a closet homosexual. In fact, Tupac has said in interviews that when he went to Quincy's home to visit Kadada, Quincy, tried to come at him instead of Kadada, and that's when he left. Now here's Kadada with Aaliyah, and they established a friendship very early in the game. So I would not doubt if Kadada was then the newly appointed handler for Aaliyah. And again, now here is Aaliyah with Pac. Now again, the fact that Aaliyah was friends with Pac and Pac later wound up dating Kadada, it is also very likely that Kadada was his handler as well. And what happens a lot of times is that the handlers and the subject will have a relationship and one of them will fall in love, but it's usually the subject. This is part of what happened with Tiger Woods. His handlers have all been white, blonde women, and this is why he cannot break out of that box. Now here's Aaliyah at a party with Kadada, Drew Barrymore, Rosario Dawson, and Nicole Richie, all major players in Hollywood, Kadada by versus of her daddy, but the rest of them are major players in Hollywood. So, the MK Ultra victims are usually only allowed to associate with other MK Ultra victims, either victims or handlers. And here is Aaliyah with Beyonce. They were friends way before Beyonce got with Jay. And again, I refer you to my video, Beyonce and JAYZ, in my Hip Hop 101 series, and I get deep into how Beyonce was actually the chosen replacement for Aaliyah. Now, here you see a shot of Aaliyah, and she's in an interview talking about her character, Akasha, from The Queen of the Dam. And she says, yes, there are some similarities, but yet there are a lot of differences. And I like doing both. And that is contributed to the mirror split programming where she has several personalities. And one of them, indeed, is this Akasha character, which is why she played it so well. And then the other is the Aaliyah that actually just wants to be free and have fun. And unfortunately, you can't be both. Even the Bible says that the water cannot run both cold and hot. It must either run one or the other. And it cannot be both filthy and clean. It must be one or the other. So if the water is clean and you introduce filth, then the water becomes dirty. And on the day she died, she was shooting this video, and as you can see, it is very sexual. In fact, a lot of people thought she was talking about a boat, but in fact, it was a sexual connotation there. 1 Timothy 6:17 says, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, which richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. After her death, her grieving family decided to, I don't think it took much manipulation, but they were planning to release this Aaliyah perfume. And, the saddest thing about everything, the entire story, is that Aaliyah says, I have no regrets. I lived a full life at 21. I've done a lot in just 21 years, and I am very happy. I actually doubt that seriously, because 21 years is not a lot of living. I don't care what you've done. I find it very sad that someone at 21 feels they've lived enough. So I'm going to end here, not because I don't have more to say. I actually have a lot more to say, but I need those of you to know that the making of these videos are very spiritually and physically draining for me. Some of you may recall from my earlier videos that I am ill. And I feel that when I was in the shelter system, I was poisoned. And that is how I became, my present illness was manifested. And every day it gets worse and worse. So you may see a little slight change in the duration of my videos, and as well as the time in between making them, because sometimes it takes me up to 2 to 3 days just to make a simple 20-minute video. But I'm led to get the word out to you as quickly as possible, and I'm not certain. It could be that my time is short. However, I am on medications that help me to function. And for those of you who can and desire, I'm going to post the link to my GoFundMe so that if you do feel led, you can contribute to the cost of my medication so that I can at least prolong life somewhat. However, even if you can't, just pray for me and I for you, because prayer doesn't cost anything. So keep me in your prayers because I keep you in my prayers. And this is where I want to end. Father Yeshua, I pray for the people who are watching these videos that they may gain understanding of what awaits them at the end of this so-called rainbow that is the entertainment business. The quest for money has consumed people so much that they're actually selling their children to the enemy in exchange for riches. And I don't believe that all of them don't know what they're doing. Many of them are full aware of what they are doing, yet they do it nonetheless because they are so clouded and blinded by riches. So I ask you, Lord, in the mighty, mighty name of Yeshua, to help the people to understand that these are just children. And the little things that they do that we find cute, they are of you, God, and they should be used in a godly manner. Some parents turn their children over to these industry people who are pedophiles and demonologists and all sorts of wickedness, and they walk away. What parent leaves their child in the hands of an adult that they know nothing about? Father, open the eyes of the parents. Help the children to be just that, children, to live their lives and to grow up and to choose as an adult which path they're going to go on. And hopefully and prayerfully, they will choose the righteous path. I ask this in Jesus' mighty name. Yeshua, Jehovah Jireh. Amen.